I'm just here to ask you a couple questions about ecology. So I'm going to first start off with, what is your name and how old are you?
I'm Tim Kuhar, and I'm 62 years old.
Okay. The second question is, as a kid, in the time that you were growing up, how would you define environmentalism?
Environmentalism was no more than cleaning up streams, maybe planting a few trees. As Boy Scouts, that's how we worked on the environment.
Okay. Did you recycle when you were younger?
No, we did not.
Okay.
Recycling wasn't a popular thing and or something that was economical to do.
So there just wasn't a lot of awareness in society about it?
Correct.
What were some of the things that you did when you were younger to contribute to the environment? Like you said stuff about
Like
the
I
Boy
mentioned,
Scouts?
in the Boy Scouts, we would go on tree planting expeditions to different locations. One time we went out and planted, we were part of planting 2,000 trees in a one-day period of time, cleaning up some streams that with rocks and brush that were backing up the waters and things like that.
Okay. Sounds very Boy Scoutish.
Thank you.
What do you do now that contributes to the environment?
Well, contributes positive or negative?
Both.
Both?
Mm-hmm.
Positively, we do recycle, and recycle a lot. As when we put out recycling, our barrel's normally the fullest. I don't know why that is, and we are probably one of the older couples on the street now, but we do recycle. We still try to do the right things when it comes to reusing or repurposing. We have an environmental recycling plant here in town where trees are recycled, shrubberies recycled, and we use what that process gives off back into our yard rather than buying new. And
Gotcha. So what's like one thing that environmentally friendly place, like one of the things you use in your yard?
well, we use two things. We use the mulch, and they produce a black dirt out of the process, and we use both of those.
Oh, okay, awesome. So on the first Earth Day, which was on April 22nd of 1970, do you recall there ever being a shift in what environmentalism meant to the world?
I don't know if it was a huge shift at that point in time, but that's when the tree planting and those things started. As I was a younger kid at that time, and that's what the Earth Day was, as opposed to what it might be today.
So was it more gradual, you think? Like the shift?
Definitely. That was probably maybe the start of people thinking about the Earth and the positives and negatives of what we were doing to the environment.
Okay. Can you explain what a carbon footprint is?
I believe a carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide or carbon that the things we use or do in our lifetime does to the environment.
Yeah. Basically, it's like that. It's just personally what you do that contributes to that, and it's usually measured close to like a period of time. So how has society changed over the years that makes you more ecologically conscious? What are some things that you've noticed over the period?
Well, I think there's been a push to get away from burning coals or fuels that cause more carbon dioxide issues. More economical or eco-friendly cars, for example, the fuels that we use to heat our houses. Those are the positive steps, things that seem to clean up the air and the environment.
It's like things like solar panels and the windmills and all that
Windmills, using natural gas versus using coal to heat houses. When I was a youngster, everybody heated their house by coal. We were one of the first ones on the block to do ours with natural gas.
Interesting. Okay, what is one thing that has changed the most from the time you were growing up to today?
I mean, because of social media, changing drastically. There's more of an awareness today than there was back in the 60s and 70s. So I think that's the biggest thing. You get information on a minute-by-minute basis versus having to read it in the newspaper, reading a book, or seeing it on TV.
Gotcha. I would have to agree to that. There's a lot of stuff on social media nowadays. What is one takeaway that you have from reflecting on the changes that have taken place when it comes to the environment comparing to when you were growing up to today?
Well, I think one of the things is back as a youngster and when I first started working, businesses and everybody used the earth to dispose of their trash very quickly. Like a lot of businesses, I grew up in the Rust Belt, and in the Rust Belt, many of the businesses in our community, the Bendix of the world, the Ball Bands of the world, and places like that, were dumping these chemicals into the ground, and we have several Superfunds that I grew up with. Now those Superfunds are finally getting cleaned up, and there's not that type of thing going on. There's more recycling.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much
You're welcome.
for letting me interview you. Thanks.